Mark Twain wrote, "All you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure." Welcome back to The Sims 4. This is the confident and ignorant Shrek Hubbard. He was last seen picking himself up off the ground after a failed marriage proposal in front of his many girlfriends. Brushing his own garden off his knees, he reflected upon the disgusting lack of appreciation for his efforts. Having fathered more than 15 children and more on the way, he had given this town more than they deserved. Like his doppelganger Cher, he shall reinvent himself and adapt to this new world. Having come across some money, the origin of which remains unannounced, he broke ground and started to build a new home, a romantic cabin in the woods with a slight extension. His new enclosure would be the monument Willow Creek didn't want but needed. Did it represent the consequences of their actions to turn their back on Shrek the Selfless? Or is this just a horrendous reflection of their own lives, enclosed for the pleasure of greater beings? Here, without charge, the neighbors and mothers are free to observe the gifts that Shrek brought to Willow Creek. Those gifts, of course, will be the children, the Shrek kids, the greenlings, the adopted and forgotten. Oh, Shrek, of course the toilet works. Preparing contracts for signing under the influence of lust, Shrek sets out his plan to woo his girlfriends back, promising them their dreams again, only to replace their dreams with ironclad documents resulting in an exchange of children and money, something many societies would likely frown upon. First, it was time to show off the new look and hit the town like it was the first night out. Wooing and seducing is well tuned now, and it's not long until the hatred for Shrek's previous actions swiftly returned to undying love. They would be the masters of their own lives. They would love Big Brother. Orwellianly speaking, of course. One by one, the pawns slid into place and the acquisitions would quickly start. Some habits die hard, it seems, and Shrek couldn't help himself but to continue giving to the town and spreading his seed. Besides, it was a great tool to convince the mothers of his commitment. Only a total psychopath would come back to have a second child with intent to simply steal the children and house savings. But a psychopath he was, and he spent many evenings learning about sim law and contracts, and thus led the gullible women to sign all that they were away to him. Let's be honest, Shrek never intended to raise kids, the one human activity he refused to embrace. The kids raised themselves, along with a butler and sometimes a nanny if they were lucky. It would teach the green ones how to mingle with the colourless bipeds. Eventually, word would get around that Shrek was getting involved again, and the local males were sticking their nose where they weren't welcome. They were leading the women away from Shrek, perhaps even interrupting his plans. So a digital dungeon was built to trap the males. It was convenient because they wouldn't need to be buried. The kids, feeling vulnerable, had introduced to them the watchful gnomes to monitor and supervise. Not only would they grow strong in this dog-eat-dog environment, but they would be ready to continue Shrek's mission when they come of age. The mothers, having never visited their lost kids, angered Shrek. How dare they ignore their own spawn? Superior spawn at that. It was time to punish them. Building an observation room above the kids' zoo pen was the answer. It was a method of growth. The mothers would learn to reflect upon their actions while realizing how superior their green childrenlings are, and the childrenlings would see that mothers didn't matter in the end. Their eventual disappearance may even be pleasing. It was time to throw a party to display the success of this mission, to really twist the knife into everyone's side for what they did. However, Shrek didn't account for an emotion called jealousy, and after a random kiss, everyone realized they were done again. The selfish Sims only thought of their own emotional needs and couldn't give a shit about their kids. Shrek was physically assaulted on the matter, and instead of leaving the party sad, they left angry and happily abandoned all hopes of getting their children back. I doubt you ever thought Shrek's actions could be defensible, but as you can see, this town deserves no mercy. We must continue to go green. This is Cam. Thanks for watching.